Yeah, I guess that being living in America, we kind of we get hit from both sides of the American dream, and then you know I hear so often in churches now the messages are so centered around what God is going to do with us and
Mm,
through us, and these big motivational sermons, and sometimes it's wonderful, and sometimes I'm like, is that like is that even biblical? But and I'm just like, you know, is does it really matter? If the significance aligns with what the world says, like what does
yeah.
Jesus say? What
Mm,
does Jesus say is significant? How does Jesus consider success? And I think that we are a very success centered culture.
yeah. Oh yeah.
We don't have tons of struggle right now in this current generation. We have struggles, they're just different.
Sure.
Um,
But we haven't been
we,
through World
we
War
have,
II or anything like that.
yeah, we have
Yeah.
so much opportunity to dream.
Yeah.
And I think about that often. When I think about past generations, and they tell me about, uh, because I guess there's a little bit of judgment in both areas. Like I think when I talk to my grandparents, they sort of think about choices being so easy and like just pick that, do this, blah 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 blah. And then I hear young people talk about big dream scheme and all of this stuff, and I'm like, well, this generation and the one that I came from, like we weren't worried about a war. We weren't worried about finance. We weren't seeing the country collapse and crazy things happening around us. Kind of smooth sail. And I think that
Yeah.
created like such a grand opportunity to dream.
Mm,
And I think that we've got to, as believers, people who know the word and are seeking God's guidance, reel it back in and say, Lord, what is the dream that you have for me?
wow. Yeah.
And maybe I believe quite often he has a dream to do in you way more often than he has a dream to do through you. And we're so excited and ready for God to do something big through us. When I think a lot of the time he's just like, hey, I want to do something in you.
Hmm.
And I think he wants to do so much more in you than he wants to do through you.
Hmm.
Because what we need to do, what we need to do for him, it's going to have to be inside
Yeah.
first. So I think we've got to place ourselves in positions of dreaming God's dream for us.
Yeah.
And what is big to God? Let's ask ourselves these questions. What's big to God, and does it align with what's big to me?
Mm,
What does that look big on social media? Because maybe it doesn't.
yeah.
Maybe your big calling from God won't bring you 50,000 followers.
Hmm.
Maybe it's not going to put you in a large church with a giant stage.
Yeah.
Maybe it's going to look small to man, but it's going to be grand to the kingdom.
Hmm.
I always think of my grandparents. My grandpa has passed now, but him and my grandma pastored a very small, simple uh, country Pentecostal church in literally right in the middle of cornfields in Illinois. And as far as I know, they weren't on TV ever. They weren't on radio shows like this. They did some
Hmm.
mission trips, but um, very small, according to like what it might be look like written out on paper. But I have never seen two people impact so many people um,
Wow.
in just staying faithful to what God gave them to work and to do. And I always think of them, and I think that's what kind of spurred this sermon I preached to my own self of, man, I want to follow that faithfulness. I want to follow that trust in the command that God gave them, and I want to apply that to my life and not get distracted by what what I want others to think of me.
Mm,
Because it's natural to desire that want of, "Hey, everybody, look, I'm on Elijah Fire show today,
Yeah.
like, check me out, and it's
Yep.
cool, and,
Yep.
look at where I'm flying to and preaching," and,
Yeah.
I'm not dogging anybody.
Sure.
Like, we should show the world what God's doing, but, I think sometimes it's blurred lines, and we get mixed up in what God considers to be success and significant and most meaningful to Him.